This is another comment from Ibrahim Dodo on video I published a few days ago. It says, "Nice lecture, Engineer Kenna. You are really doing a wonderful job. I wish I'm in Abuja. Your office would have been my gisting point. For months now, for months now, I had been having noise while selecting gear 2 on my Z9607 with EW12 engine. I changed discs and plate, later even changed gearbox based on my mechanic advice, but the noise is still there and is embracing, especially when I carry people. Embarrassing, especially when I carry people. Though the noise usually occur when I change gear too while moving. But if I slow down the car gently and change the gear, you won't hear the noise at all. Um, Please, what is your advice on that, sir? Because another different mechanic is saying because we have not gotten the right disc. That's why the noise is coming. Um, I'm trying to imagine what the noise you're talking about sounds like. But I know your gearbox, which is ML6C. Since you said this is 607Z9 with EW12J4 engine. So, and if it's manual gearbox, so that would be that system ML6C. And the gearbox model is 20MB06. Yeah, 20MB06. So that gearbox, what I do know is when the oil in the gearbox is not the right one, like all this mineral oil, sometimes if you are shifting from when the engine or let's just say when the gearbox is cold and you are shifting from gear 1 to gear 2 to make one kind of sound like grrr, to make that sound to like what I mean, it will grind into the gear 2. Yeah, so um but then that noise usually goes away once the engine warms up. um like I said, or the gearbox warms up, like I said, usually because of the once it's not the recommended oil, you're having that, so remember, I published a video, was it minutes or an hour ago or thereabout, concerning recommended manual gear box oil for Peugeot vehicles. So you may have to work towards getting that oil, if you have that opportunity. Another thing that can cause, see, I'm just remember what I said is I'm imagining what the sound will be like. I don't know the exact sound you are talking about, but the one I'm referring to, like the one that if you want to shift from gear 1 to gear 2, that's what usually happen on that gearbox, that ML6C 20MB06. So from gear 1 to gear 2, as you're entering 2, it will make the sound. Yeah, so another thing that can cause that is the reverse cable. Your car has 3 gear cables, 2 big and the 1 tiny one. So the one that can cause it is that tiny one. If it's not well adjusted, actually has adjustment where it goes into. So if it's not well adjusted, or not well positioned, I mean the cable itself, yeah, it will do that. To do that, sometimes I not even enter gear 2. So I will do that too. So we may have to look at that, since you say you change the gearbox, the clutch kit, yeah, that particular. So that's like something that I believe, since you didn't say you change your cable, so that one has been there while you change every other thing. So now let's see if the cable too can be. No, normally is the positioning of the cable or how you adjust it on that at that age where it goes into the gearbox that can sometimes can make that sound or make it a little bit hard to enter gear two. Um Now I'm trying to imagine if the sound I made concerning what I imagined you are referring to is exactly what you are referring to. Um Now the clutch pressure plate is what Nigerians call clutch disc. Actually the clutch disc is the friction plate, the one we call clutch plate here. That's not actually the clutch disc. The clutch disc is the friction plate, while the pressure plate is the one we call clutch disc. So the pressure plate, um normally if that one is bad, you hear that noise on gear one and the reverse more. When you want to enter gear one, that sound will come up. It will be more pronounced on gear one and reverse. That what I mean is if the friction plate where no the pressure plate, where they send release bearing or the throughout bearing touches, it has some things like fingers there. So if that place wears out, yeah, it will start making. But like I said, it's supposed to be gear one and reverse. So it's just like if the clutch, the cylinders, I mean the clutch master cylinder, which is attached top close to the clutch booster, brake booster, and also the clutch slave cylinder, which is attached on the gearbox. If any of them is leaking, or the pressure line that connects both cylinders, if they are leaking hydraulic, they will be behaving as if your clutch pressure plate has worn. If you want to put gear one, sometimes it might not enter easily. Before you enter, it will make that sound. Um, I don't know. I just explain what I know. The sound I made in the beginning of the video. What I know that we usually cause it under gearbox, the oil, the cable, the reverse cable, that tiny one, and I don't know. Yeah, friction plate can cause no pressure plate. Clutch pressure plate can do that, but I'm surprised if you're saying it to do that on gear two. Supposed to be gear one and the reverse. I mean, but the thing is, that pressure plate is very common. So I don't see why it would be hard for you to get a good one. Or maybe you bought a wrong one. It shouldn't be. Because it's the same pressure plate that is on EW engines. The other thing is, actually the part numbers are not the same. For some reasons, I don't know. But the part numbers are not the same, but they all look alike. So these days, once you just buy the one from EW10 engine, W10J4, it works. Um, so I can't say for okay if you want exactly the one remove for that EW12J4 with ML6C gearbox. I don't know what exact or how to identify that one from that of EW10J4, but I know once you go to market, you collect, just I've changed that many times for people or did conversion where I use it for people. I'll just go and buy the one for, just say give me EW10J4 one. I know what it looks like, collect it, mount it, and they work. So some do make that sound as well. But like I said, sometimes I attribute it to the gear cable, adjust it, change the position, it stops. Sometimes it comes up when it happens when the engine gearbox oil is cold. I don't bother touching anything, knowing that because it's not the recommended oil. So the person who will have to live with it until engine oil warms up, then goes away. But if the sound is like too loud, like grrr, or stays too long before it enters, I will tell you, maybe you will have to check that your gear cable, the the one for the reverse, that tiny one, the one that you lift up when you want to put gear reverse beside the gear one, or into two, that almost same place in gear one. You lift up the gear knob, that lower part of the gear knob. So that cable, that small one that you lift up, that's the one that can cause that noise, or may even stop your gear two from entering. So aside these other two things, I don't know what else I could say. Maybe the pressure plate could be the cause in your case, but like I said, it shouldn't be a problem, because even those that buy the normal, like I say, EW10J4, which they all look the same. I don't see any or hear anyone having that kind of problem where it's constant and without solving the problem by adjusting the cable, the reverse cable. um I don't know. I don't know what the just ask your mechanic what clutch pressure plate did he buy for you. How good was the surface is what I mean. So I mean that place where the clearance bearing touches on the pressure plate, how good it has it worn, has it eaten up. But besides, if that one happens, it comes with other symptoms. If you, as you're changing gear, like you want to put gear one, you want to move the car, the entire car will be vibrating, the entire front end will be vibrating. Likewise, if you put it on reverse, I want to move the car, the front end of the car, every part of the car will be vibrating, go 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 go, before the car moves. So that's how to know if your clutch pressure plate has actually worn where the release bearing touches. So other than that, if that is the case, then yeah, maybe you should change it, put another one, but find out what the problem is. Was the sound there before since you got the car, or is it something that developed? If it did develop, when did you started hearing that sound? Did you do any work before that sound came up? Which part of the car or the vehicle did you do the work? Or it came up on its own, not necessarily because you did a work on the car, but your mechanic work on the car and the sound came up. So that's how you can narrow things down. The history, so that you know what you're looking at. I don't know if the vehicle is with me, I would know where to, but sometimes sound is not enough. If I know how you didn't describe the sound, which will also be difficult for me to imagine. So, but at least I've given you idea what you can check to know. Unless maybe the gearbox you purchase also has the same problem with the old one. It could also come from the gearbox. Maybe there's a problem already with the gearbox, but I doubt two gearbox having the same issue. Okay.